How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Bailey Zappe career series. And today I'm going to be bringing you a video that's a bit different from what you usually see on the series. This video is solely going to be going over the 2023 offseason, and there's going to be no gameplay. This is more or less for all my simulation fans out there that are curious as to how all the rosters, teams, pan out here in the 2023 season. So, like I said, no gameplay. We're going to start with the draft. Then we're going to move over to actual offseason activities. And I'll be going over all 32 teams. But don't worry, there will be timestamps in the description for each of the 32 teams that I'm going to go over. Now, I have to preface this by saying that I began this series during the 2022 offseason, meaning none of the mid-season trades or trades that happened in the 2022 season in the real-life NFL are represented in this series. Things like Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers, Bradley Chubb to the Miami Dolphins, none of that. It's not here. Bradley Chubb is still on the Broncos. Christian McCaffrey is still with the Carolina Panthers. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the draft. The 2023 draft is here. Now, like I said, started this series in the 2022 offseason. So the Bears do not have the number one pick from the Texans' Week 18 win, as they do in real-life NFL. So I'm not going to go over all of them. I'm going to go over probably the first 10 picks and then move over to the Patriots to see all that we grabbed here. But starting with the very first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, CJ Stroud goes to the Seattle Seahawks. Great pickup. Geno is not the greatest in this game. He did very well in real life. Bryce Young is the second pick, and he goes to the Chicago Bears. Very, very weird draft choice considering they already have a young budding star at quarterback named Justin Fields. Number 3 overall pick, Will Anderson Jr., the edge rusher, to the Texans. Not a bad choice. Jalen Carter to the Steelers. Yet again, not a bad choice. The Steelers are always about defense. Brian Brees, yet another defensive player, to the Jaguars. Also not a bad pick. Miles Murphy to the Falcons. Jackson to the Minnesota Vikings. Robinson to the Miami Dolphins. Good pickup. Good pickup for the backfield there. Tyler Van Dyke to the Lions. And Michael Mayer to the Miami Dolphins as well. Now, one thing I do want to see right there, Will Levis, first round, 13th pick to the New York Giants. Now, so those are all the ones I'm going to go into. And now we're just going to see all the things that we picked up as the Patriots. So, with our first round pick, we picked up Tyler McKee, quarterback. I don't know why they picked up a quarterback, because Bailey Zappe is the future of this franchise. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We got Zach Harrison, a defensive piece. Chris, another defensive piece. Jack Campbell, another defensive piece. Devontae, defense. Ryan Hayes, rookie left tackle. So who knows? He might come in handy. Xavier Hutchinson, a wide receiver, and DeMarco Hellams. So, we drafted basically all defensive players, aside from Tanner McKee, Xavier Hutchinson, and Ryan Hayes. So that's going to be it for the draft. Now we move on to the actual offseason activities. Starting with none other than the Chicago Bears. Let's see what they did in their offseason. So, they signed offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. Okay. Totally fine. Then they re-signed a couple players, including Roquan Smith to a 5-year, $80.4 million contract. Well worth it. One of the best run-stopping middle linebackers in all of the NFL. They re-signed their center, very young Sam Mustipher, to a 1-year contract. Not bad. They got some weapons here on the offense. McCole Hardman, a 3-year, $15 million contract from the Chiefs, as well as Marquez Callaway. I can't remember what team. I'm pretty sure that is from the Seahawks, but I'm not sure. Kareem Hunt, a 3-year, near $20 million contract from the Browns. Not a bad pickup. Who knows who'll start, either him or Montgomery, I'm not quite sure. They got a new tight end, Evan Ingram from the Jaguars. He was previously on the Giants, my bad. He signed them for a 3-year, $17 million contract. Tyrell Crosby to help protect either Bryce Young or Justin Fields. Not sure who. We'll have to see how that plays out. Yet another right tackle, Jack Conlin. Then, ooh, I almost got tricked. I saw Chris Jones and I was like, no way, is that the Chiefs' Chris Jones? It is not. It's a punter. They signed Taysom Hill, most likely going to be a practice squad backup type of guy. And that's mainly it. So they picked up some weapons on offense, namely Mecole Hardman. And then they signed a bunch of offensive linemen to protect either Justin Fields or Bryce Young. So not bad moves at all. So let's move on to the next team. Bengals here. The Bengals re-signed Von Bell to a 4-year, $35 million contract. Huge contract. Jonah Williams to a 6-year, $77 million contract. Very smart decision. You want to basically get as much protection for Joe Burrow as long as you can. They got free safety Jimmy Ward from the 49ers on a 2-year, $7 million contract. They stole Joejuan Williams from our New England Patriots. Just a 1 year. And oh my goodness gracious, they forked out the bag for the Buffalo Bills, Tremaine Edmunds. $94 million contract for 5 years. Sheesh! And now we can see here why the Bears decided to pick up Kareem Hunt. They let go of David Montgomery, and he signed a 2-year, $10 million deal for the Bengals. Definitely going to be playing backup to Joe Mixon there. Other than that, they bolstered their secondary yet again with James Bradbury. So a lot of secondary changes here. James Bradbury plus Jimmy Ward. Then they traded a defensive tackle to the Bengals for some draft picks here. Nothing crazy. And that's about it for the Bengals. So they actually made some substantial moves specifically for the defense here. Tremaine Edmunds, Joejuan Williams, Jimmy Ward, and Bradbury. That is a pretty stacked defense if you ask me. Combine that with Sam Hubbard. Dang, I can't remember the other guy's name. It's Sam Hubbard and one other guy I can't remember the name of. And then combined with Jesse Bates. So their defense is top notch. All right, next team. The Buffalo Bills. Now, they don't really need to change anything. It's too severe, obviously, because they're a fantastic team. So they're just re-signing Roger Saffold, Devin Singletary. Definitely makes sense. They got Jermaine Pratt from the Bengals there, but only on a really low contract, so he most likely will be playing practice squad or backup. We'll have to see. Cameron Dicker the kicker from the LA Chargers, and that's it. So they don't have to do much. Team is stacked. Next team. The Denver Broncos. Okay, yet another team where their roster's pretty stacked, so I don't expect them to really do much in the offseason here. They re-signed Dalton Reisner, fantastic re-sign there. Draymond Jones, Bradley Chubb. Obviously, Bradley Chubb and Dalton Reisner, you lock them down for an extended period of time. Kareem Jackson, they lose him from the secondary as he retires. Other than that, there's not really anything to say here. They just signed a bunch of players that are most likely going to serve as backups or practice squad members. So, next team. The Cleveland Browns. Let's see. They also didn't really do much. Aside from Dante Hightower, they signed him to a $10K contract, which is kind of crazy that he only went for $10,000, but you know what? It's Madden for you. So let's move on to the next team. Buccaneers. So they signed offensive coordinator Mike Tomlin. I'm assuming that's not the Mike Tomlin from the Steelers. I'm not sure, because I'm pretty sure Mike Tomlin is a DC, but yeah, it's a bit confusing. I'm not sure. They re-signed Levante David and Sean Murphy-Bunting. Great re-signs. Those two are fantastic defensive players. Tom Brady actually retires in the simulation, unlike in real life. We'll still have to figure out what he plans on doing in real life. Aside from that, Frank Clark. They signed a Frank... Wow, I'm surprised Frank Clark took such a low contract. But I guess that's how Madden plays out for you. So Frank Clark, edge rusher from the Chiefs. They got him. And that is it. Those are really the key signings. As you guys can see, I'm not going to go over every single signing or trade each team does, simply because that will take too long. And some of these players are pretty much no-name players, as bad as that to say. Aside from that, let's move on to the next team. The Arizona Cardinals. Ooh, they have a lot. So they signed David Coley. I'm not sure who that is. They re-signed Byron Murphy, Will Hernandez, Zach Allen, DJ Humphries, and JJ Watt. JJ Watt does not retire, so like he does in real life. So he's going to be playing for the Arizona Cardinals yet again in the 2023 season. Other than that, they get Leonard Floyd from the Rams. Great pickup there. Greg Joseph, that is the kicker for the Minnesota Vikings right now. They also get Bryce Callahan from the Chargers. Okay, so far, 2 players from the Rams. My bad. Then they get, let's see, Ricky Seals-Jones. Not a terrible pickup. And that's it. So they mostly re-signed players. They re-signed a bunch, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players they re-signed. Then they got Leonard Floyd and Greg Joseph. Those are really the key pickups for the Arizona Cardinals. So let's move on to the Chargers. Now the Chargers didn't do a lot here. They re-signed Trey Pipkins, and I'm not going to pronounce his name because I will butcher it. Other than that, they got Jordan Phillips, who I believe is from the Eagles. I could be wrong. And that's about it. So not a lot of changes for the Chargers. Didn't expect a lot of changes either. Their team is really good. Now Chiefs, same thing. I do not expect them to do a lot, but we'll have to see. So they re-signed Orlando Brown, Derek, and Juan Thornhill. So definitely fine. They re-signed 3 players. Justin Watson, they signed him to a $1 million contract. He's actually balling it out in real life. Jason Verrett from the 49ers, they picked him up. Nice pickup as well. Drew Tranquill is another underrated pickup for the middle linebacker position. Demarcus Robinson is actually back on the team, funny enough. And that's it. So re-signed a few players, signed Demarcus Robinson on their team again. But the 2 most important pickups I think here are Jason Verrett for the secondary, as well as Drew Tranquill for middle linebacker. Next team. The Colts. Now, I think they should do a lot of changes, perhaps. I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with the Colts. But they franchise tag Quentin Nelson. Obviously, Quentin Nelson's a fantastic offensive lineman. They signed Bobby Okereke to a 5-year, $95 million contract. Jesus, he got the bag. Paris Campbell, they re-signed him for 1 year. And those are all the re-signings for the Colts. They signed Jonathan Abram, a 2-year contract to bolster their secondary. Not bad, not bad. And they signed N'Keal Harry away from the Bears. Then I think that's it. Yeah. So they didn't do much either. Re-signed key players, Bobby Okereke, Quentin Nelson. Well, I shouldn't say re-signed, but franchise tagged Quentin Nelson. And they signed Jonathan Abram to bolster up their secondary. That's it. Commanders. Now this is a team I hopefully will see a lot of changes to. So right off the bat, they released Carson Wentz. They released J.D. McKissick. I'm actually sad. J.D. McKissick is, I think, super underrated. They re-signed Cole Holcomb. Great re-sign. Trey Turner, yet another great re-sign. Terry McLaurin got the bag, a 5-year, $90 million contract. Let's go. Scary Terry, the GOAT. Then they signed Foster Moreau from the Raiders. Let's see, who else? Tyree Johnson. Oh, they signed Randy Gregory from the Denver Broncos. Jaquiski Tart, I think from... I actually don't know where he went, but if you guys remember, Tart was the one who dropped basically a potential game-winning pick in the 2021 Super Bowl. Not Super Bowl, my bad. The championship, I believe. Yes. Then they got Trey Flowers, not bad. And okay, so it looks like they didn't do much here. They are banking on playing Heineke as their starting quarterback, which is obvious because they released Carson Wentz. And they basically just re-signed a bunch of players. The biggest one being Scary Terry. Trey Turner, also a fantastic offensive lineman. Cole Holcomb also holds it down. But, you know, I kind of wanted to see a little bit more from this team, considering how I don't fully believe that this team is all that stacked. Oh, wow, I can't believe I missed this. They signed Ngakoue to a 3-year, $22 million contract. So, actually, they did do a fair amount. A lot of great defensive signings here. Jaquiski Tart, he's not the best, but he's a welcome addition. Ngakoue and Randy Gregory, so they definitely, I take back what I said. They actually did make moves in the offseason. America's team, Dallas Cowboys. I don't think they did a lot. They re-signed Leighton Vander Esch, smart. Connor McGovern also re-signed him. Re-signed Tony Pollard for 2 years. That is a bit suspect to me. I would have signed him for a lot more. Tony Pollard is an absolute baller. They re-signed Dalton Schultz to a 3-year contract. Also a smart sign. Dalton Schultz is a baller. Then they didn't really sign anybody else. So, I mean, very Jerry Jones. Very Jerry Jones. Dolphins are next up. Another team that doesn't look like they did a lot here. They re-signed their punter, re-signed Melvin Ingram. They re-signed Myles Gaskin and Justin Zimmer. So they did a bunch of re-signings here. Melvin Ingram being the really big one. Then as in terms of free agents that they picked up, not really anybody either. So we can move on to the next team here. The Philadelphia Eagles. Wow, it seems like they re-signed a lot. So they re-signed offensive lineman here. Gardner Johnson, they re-signed for 3 years. Re-signed Fletcher Cox for 3 years. Then re-signed TJ Edwards. Re-signed Miles Sanders. Re-signed Javon Hargrave, Jason Kelsey, Brandon Graham. Actually, he retired. Actually, both him and Jason Kelsey retired after re-signing. That's a little weird. But, you know, it is what it is, so that's fine. In terms of free agents, kicker Matt Gay, 4 years, pretty big. James Robinson, a big bag too, 4 years, $28 million. Which is kind of weird because they re-signed Miles, so I guess he's going to be playing backup to Miles. Jordan Poyer, yet another big signing from the Buffalo Bills, as if this defense needed any more key pieces. Kyle Van Noy, and then their only offensive piece here, Juju Smith-Schuster, 3-year contract. Don't know if he fully deserves a 3-year contract, but, you know, simulations are different from real life. Now, Falcons, poverty franchise, let's check it out. They signed head coach Sean Kugler. No idea who that is. My bad if he's super famous or whatever. They re-signed Rashawn Evans, as well as Elijah Wilkinson. Free agent-wise, they actually signed Dre Greenlaw from the 49ers. What a stud to help out their pass rush. Fantastic signing here. 2 secondary signings, Taylor Rapp and Kendall Sheffield. Decent signings, not fantastic, but, you know, they're key pieces. Melvin Gordon they signed, actually, which is really surprising since he's kind of washed in real life. They got Jalen Mills. No! They got Jalen Mills from us. He was our leading he led our team in interceptions. Wow, that came out super bad. But, oh man, I'm so sad we lost Jalen Mills. Oh, dang. They signed Ebukam from the 49ers. Wow, so the Falcons got Ebukam and Dre Greenlaw. Holy, okay. So they're making money moves. They signed Tommy Townsend from the the Chiefs. Don't know why I said 49ers. And that's it. But wow, these are big pickups. Samson Ebukam and Dre Greenlaw. Okay, we'll see how they turn out 2023 season, but they did make money moves, I'll have to say. Now, the 49ers, let's see. Debo got himself a bag, 5-year contract. Mike McGlinchey, yet another great offensive lineman. Then for free agencies, let's see. Nasir Adderley from the LA Chargers. K'Wan Williams. He sounds familiar, but I actually don't know who him. Whoops. Nicholas Morrow, I'm not sure who that is either. And wow, I actually don't know a bunch of these players. Oh no, they lost Trent Williams to retirement. That's huge. That's massive. Trent Williams is the best left tackle in all of the NFL, and to lose him, man, that my heart goes out to the 49ers. Unlucky. They let's see, who else did they get? No, they got Devontae. Oh no, so far we've lost Joejuan Williams, we've lost Jalen Mills, and now we lost Devontae. No, dude. Okay, well, when we get to the Patriots, we'll have to see exactly what we get. But so that's the 49ers. Next are the Giants, who drafted Will Levis, remember? So they also signed Daniel Jones. So that might be a quarterback battle. I'm not sure. They might just have Will Levis sit behind Daniel Jones. We'll have to see how that turns out. Then Saquon Barkley, 4-year, $22 million contracts. Understandable. Saquon Barkley is a beast. They re-signed Julian Love yet again. Damian Harris. I'm surprised they gave this old man a 2-year contract. They signed the speedster Khalif Raymond from the Lions. And wow, they got themselves an absolute stud on tight end. Mike Gesicki with a 4-year, $47 million contract to play for the New York Giants. They bolstered their secondary with Trayvon Mullen. I should know what team he's from, but I do not at the moment, so my apologies. Other than that, Sony Michel, 1-year contract, a little bit there. Alex Anazone, another Lions pickup. They signed, bless the Lord, the Giants finally got a piece on offense, or a receiver on offense. Jarvis Landry from the Saints on a 2-year, $6.74 million contract, which is a steal if you ask me. That is a steal. So far, I mean, man, the Giants for real upgraded on offense. They got wide receiver 1, Jarvis Landry. Then they have the absolute insane tight end signing of Mike Gesicki. So we'll have to see how they turn out this season. I'm very interested. The Jaguars, let's see what they did. They re-signed a bunch of players. Marvin Jones. So fantastic re-signings here. Then, as terms of free agents, really nothing. So, on to the Jets. What did the Jets do? Quincy Williams, re-signed him. Connor McGovern, re-signed them. So, a bunch of decent re-signings. Quincy Williams, really good, really good. In terms of free agencies, not much. Not much here. Donovan Smith, I guess. Mason Crosby from the Packers. And that's it. So they didn't do much changes either, which is understandable. The Jets have a really nice young core. Garrett Wilson, Zach Wilson, and I know I'm saying Zach Wilson, but you know, as you do, simulation is different from real life. He's kind of stinking it up in real life, but he's still a good piece in Madden. So Lions. I'm interested in what they're doing. So they re-signed TJ Hawkinson, Mike Hughes, DJ Chark, then also re-signed Jamal Williams. Yes, let's go. Jamal Williams is the GOAT. I love him. Then, in terms of free agent signings, nothing crazy here. JD McKissick from the Commanders. Jonas Griffith from the Broncos. Blake Martinez from the Giants. This is actually a pretty decent signing. I like Blake Martinez. He's a good player. And that's it. So nothing crazy. Re-signed a bunch of players, and their only like decent free agent signing here is Blake Martinez. Moving on to the Packers. We're close to getting the Patriots, guys. We're close. We'll have to see what they do to our team. Packers re-signed Robert Tonyan, Adrian Amos. Oh, Mercedes Lewis retires after 17 years, but it's fine. They have Robert Tonyan. He's young, so nothing crazy there. And that's it, really. So retirement, re-signed key players, and that's it. So Panthers. Oh, we're one away, guys. We're one away. So the Panthers here actually picked up Cody Barton. Not bad, from the Seattle Seahawks. Wow, and that's it. Cody Barton. Oh, almost spoiled it. Okay, well, whatever. Let's just move on to our team. Okay, guys, I'm going to freak out. Okay, so obviously we know that we released Jalen Mills. He already got picked up. We released Devontae. He already got picked up. We released Lawrence Guy. I can't quite remember Lawrence Guy, actually. I feel like I should. Ty Montgomery, sad to see him go, but oh well. We signed offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell. Not sure who he is. We re-signed Jacoby Myers. Okay. He's young, so I totally understand this re-signing. He's got a lot to go, or he can drastically improve. That's what I mean. We also signed Jabril Peppers. Fantastic safety. I love that. Jonathan Jones, yet again, another fantastic secondary player. Isaiah Wynn. Let's go. Good O-lineman. Then, not sure who Raekwon McMillan is. We lost Devin McCourty to retirement. That really sucks. We signed Anthony Walker Jr. I have no idea who that is, but we signed him to a 3-year, $32 million contract. Tavon Young, a decent piece for the secondary. We got Odell Beckham Jr. on a 2-year, $7.12 million contract. So he should be a... Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I was going to finish that sentence, but my goodness gracious. We got Jesse Bates the third on a 4-year, $60 million contract from the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, sir. Okay. Our secondary, our defense. Well, let's just say 2023, I'm going to let the defense carry me yet again. We got Jason Sanders. Not sure who he played for, actually. Rashad Fenton. And that's it? So, wow. So, we actually made a good amount of additions to our defense here. Obviously, the re-signing of Jabril Peppers, also big. Then, to add on to that, we lost Devin McCourty, but we replaced him with Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates, y'all. Let's go. Yes, sir. Okay, then we picked up Rashad Fenton. I don't know who he played for last year, but all I remember is him playing for the Chiefs. He obviously didn't play for the Chiefs in 2022. Then we have Odell Beckham Jr. Honestly, we'll have to see. I don't think he's going to be my wide receiver one. Odell Beckham Jr. isn't the tallest receiver. He's pretty old now. He's not the New York Giants Odell Beckham Jr., obviously. But we'll have to see how that plays out for our team. I'm really excited with our defensive signings, though. I wish I knew who Anthony Walker Jr. is, because we signed him to a relatively long-term deal, 3 years, $32.2 million contract. But yeah, it seems like 2023 is going to be yet another season where our defense carries us. Man, I can't get over this Jesse Bates signing. This is fire. Y'all, Bengals fans, you know, this kid is an absolute dog. But okay, enough hyping our Patriots. Let's move on to the Raiders here. Another kind of poverty franchise. So we'll have to see what they do. Re-signed a bunch of players. Oh, wow, a ton of players. Obviously, this is the big one here. Josh Jacobs, 5-year. Most likely in real life, he's not staying with the Raiders. But he is staying with them in the simulation. They got Richie James, which is from the Giants. Then I think that's it. Yep, that's pretty much it for the Raiders. moving on to the Rams. I don't think Rams are a team that really needs to change anything. Let's see here. They released Leonard Floyd. We know that already. He got picked up. They signed head coach Byron Leftwich. Why does that sound so familiar? Is that... I'm not sure where he's from. I know who he is. It's just I can't picture it right now. They re-signed David Long, David Edwards, Greg Gaines, a bunch. They signed Greg Zuerlein. Pretty sure he played for the Jets in 2022. And yeah, that's it. So, nothing big. They got a new head coach, which is really surprising. So, I'm assuming that Sean McVay is going to go somewhere else if he didn't retire. So, let's go to the Ravens here. Baltimore. What do they have? They re-signed Lamar. Yeah, look at that. Big bag. QB Lamar Jackson, 6-year, $210 million contract. Crazy. If only they would shell out this type of money in real life to keep him. Anyways, they re-signed Marcus Peters. Calais Campbell retires. That's also a big hit. He's a fantastic player. He's basically the leader of that defense. Then they signed, let's see, Noah Brown he played for the Cowboys in 2022. They traded, we went over that trade. They signed John Ross, record setter in the 40-yard dash. So we'll have to see how he plays out. Maybe he's better in Madden than he is in real life. So moving on, Saints. What do we have here? Released a bunch of players here. Jeez, okay. Then they signed Sterling Shepard. Wow, they got this guy cheap as hell. 1-year, $10K contract. So I'm pretty sure you see a bunch of these $10K contracts because Madden is just weird that way. I'm not sure. It's so confusing, honestly. Madden, it is what it is. But they didn't do much either. The outside of the Sterling Shepard thing. That's a name. That's the only name I recognize, really. So we're almost to the end here. We're going over the Seahawks. Wow, they did a lot here. Jeez. Okay. They released Shelby Harris. That sucks. I think he is a great defensive player. And there it is. There it is. So Sean McVay did not retire, but he's going to be playing, or he is going to be the offensive coordinator next to Pete Carroll here in Seattle. So, I mean, if we see, we'll have to see. They have, they did draft CJ Stroud, so this team might be dominant, guys. I'm going to be honest, might be dominant. They re-signed DK Metcalf. He got himself a bag, 5-year, $94 million contract. Totally understandable. I'd want to keep DK Metcalf for as long as I live, too. Sidney Jones. Then they signed Ted Karras. Okay. Not a bad signing. He played for the Bengals in 2022. What else? Akeem Hicks, yet another not bad signing. Zach Pascal from the Philadelphia Eagles. So this is a pretty stacked. They have great to decent wide receivers in this offense. DK Metcalf, Zach Pascal, and why can't I remember his name? Oh my goodness, he's number 16. You guys know who I'm talking about. Can't remember his name right now. Jamel Dean from the Buccaneers. Good signing as well. Kyle Fuller, yet another good signing. They signed up Jacoby Brissett as the backup there. Then, so that's it. Okay. All right, I'm going to speed through these next four. Hopefully. So, wow, Steelers did a lot too. Got rid of Mitchell Trubisky. Understandable. They signed Brian Flores. Okay, so with this head coach signing of Brian Flores, that means Mike Tomlin went to the Buccaneers as their offensive coordinator. That's a little weird. I'm not sure how that really works out, but I'm just going to blame it on Madden being Madden. They also got Joe Judge as their offensive coordinator. He's kind of not good, but it is what it is. They re-signed Terrell Edmonds, Deontay Johnson, Devin Bush, Benny Snell. They got Darius Slayton from the Giants on a 3-year, $24 million contract. So this is a pretty stacked wide receiver room. Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, and Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton is not the best, but he's decent. He's a key player. They signed Larry, who I'm pretty sure was already on the team. I'm a bit confused. That's fine. Then they signed Carson Wentz, probably going to be starting solely because I think his overall is better than Pickett, and it's weird that way. DeAndre Carter from the LA Chargers, Boston Scott from the Philadelphia Eagles, Andrew Wiley. No, the Chiefs lost a fantastic offensive lineman there. And that's it for the Steelers. Texans. These guys should have a big offseason, and it is. Okay. Wow, geez. So, let's see. They released a bunch of players. I don't know any of these names, honestly. Wow, they released a ton of players. They signed Arthur Smith, who was the head coach of the Falcons, as their offensive coordinator. Terrell Austin, I'm not quite sure who that is. They re-signed O.J. Howard. Re-signed a bunch of other players too. Not a bunch of well-known names. In terms of free agency signings, they got Eric McCoy, great center Ronnie Harrison, Justin Jackson. They signed Jadeveon Clowney. So Jadeveon Clowney is back on the Texans. Wow. They signed another good offensive lineman here, Rob Havenstein. Then Kenyon Drake, a decent running back. James Washington, he's old. Oh my goodness. Kaiser White, this is a good signing. Kaiser White from the Philadelphia Eagles, he's a baller. Let's see, I feel like I should know who this is. I think he's from the Chargers, not sure. And that's it. Okay, Titans. So the Titans released Bud Dupree, Danico Autry, Randy Bullock. Wow, this is crazy. I don't know about these three releases. That's kind of crazy. They re-signed Austin Hooper, not bad. Re-signed Amani Hooker, also not bad. And in terms of free agent signings, Raheem Mostert is now part of the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, he's going to be playing backup to the King. And that's it. So they didn't do much. They didn't really need to do much, I guess. Vikings, another team that I don't believe they have to do much either. They released Jordan Hicks. Sad to see him go. Re-signed Alexander Madison. Smart. He's super young. Free agency-wise, they got Matt Amendola. Okay. You know, you do you. They got Morgan Fox from the Chargers. Joe Schobert. Can't remember where he's from either. And I think that's it. Okay, so that is it for the off-season video. The video actually came out to be a little longer than I wanted, but I hope you guys do tune in if you're curious about this, how the simulation's going and stuff like that. But that is going to be the end of the video. Thank you for staying with me here, and I will see you guys in Season 2 of Bailey Zappe 2023.